Welcome back to the Phanatics podcast. I'm upset. I'm upset because of the last two games. Zach, how are you?
Oh, just right there with you, bud. Not having a
Um,
good time.
no, and it's weird because we're sitting here only being upset over losing two games in a row, but
Mm-hmm.
still, it's the teams I think we lost to. It's why we're upset. Um, Lost the series versus the Rockies. That happened. Um, and then we lost today versus the San Francisco Giants. So, um, I guess we'll get more into that. But as you can see, we are just here, just me and Zach again. Um, Madison decided she hates us and she doesn't want to come on anymore. I'm joking. She'll be back next week, hopefully. Um, but yeah, so I mean, I have a lot of positive things to talk about first, but I don't want to talk about them right now. So I'm going to
It's
start
hard
with
to
the.
talk about the positives right now with the past couple days.
So I want to move to the obvious, which is watching Taiwan Walker pitch today and what needs to happen because it's it's almost every game now, and I can't deal with it. So, what do you think?
I don't know. I I don't know what to do with it because there's not many other options other than Turnbull. So, and we haven't seen him a lot too much out of the bullpen. So maybe it's going to happen that he comes back in the rotation. It's a 6-man rotation or something because I don't see them putting him in the bullpen.
I think we're just gonna have to go through at least until July, looking at it as that might just be a almost loss every week.
Well, it could be like a weak link. So at the end of July and the trade deadline, maybe you just give them away because it's not helping you. You know,
It's not going to help you, and I don't think you need anything back big in return. I
no.
think you take whatever someone's
I
willing to
would
give you.
take Rodolfo Castro back for it
Yeah,
again. just I
literally
don't think
anybody.
it's not good, man.
So,
But the craziest part is somehow they give him run support and then he just gives it away again.
yeah, I mean today had a lot to do with errors,
Yeah, yeah.
which I mean, Bohm had a bad day. Those are going to happen once in a while, but
A lot of people had bad days today.
yeah. And
So
that also starts with the fact that your starting second baseman isn't starting every game.
yeah.
Um,
Your shortstop is out still.
yeah,
They're not going to be good forever without him.
no, and eventually it was going to catch up. I mean, Stott's fine at second. I mean, shortstop, but they don't want to play him at second. They don't want to play him at short. They don't want to play him at all. So, and there has to come to a point where you're going, is it really worth mixing up to have Christian Pache in the lineup instead of Brandon Marsh and all of these little things. I mean, Rojas made a bad decision today in
Yeah.
center.
But that didn't lose the ball game.
No,
So he also had an RBI. So
yeah, it makes up for it.
yeah, he's been playing okay. His batting average has dipped, but at the same time, like you're saying about guys like Pache and stuff, Brandon Marsh is not over 30 years old. He doesn't really need rest days in my eyes. He's
No,
kind of trying to get into his prime, so I don't know why. It's just I guess baseball's not baseball like it used to be.
but how is he supposed to ever be able to go out there and be able to hit those pitching if he's not in the rotation? I mean, in the lineup for those games. Like, how's he ever supposed to improve? How is he supposed to? We're supposed to be like, okay, this is Brandon Marsh at his max. This is where we're leaving him.
Mhm.
That can't be true.
I wouldn't. I would hope not.
And then, I mean, if you can, it's like saying that we're not going to start Bryce Harper today because he's a lefty.
Yeah.
Like, it sounds idiotic, and it is idiotic. You have guys that are better; they should be playing. And I don't even know. I'm so frustrated because the Colorado series is what I'm mostly frustrated about. Still, I
Yeah.
can let today go because Taiwan pitched, and it is what it is.
I didn't want to lose 2 games in a row, but at the same time, it's kind of weird to think about. We can be critical again because they've lost 2 games in a row. Apparently, they were the best. They're still the best record in baseball.
That's because all the good teams are losing at the same time.
Right, right. But at the same time, we can be critical again. It's kind of weird because we've been so positive lately
I
with
mean,
all the good things.
my whole list is positive, and I
I
don't know
know.
where to go with it.
It's still. I mean, it's still positive. It's a couple games. We lost. We played down to the level of the competition. That's what happened. That's what's been happening, and that maybe they've been playing really hard and they needed some days off and they weren't playing 100% because people have been going through some things.
Yeah, and then having to go over to Colorado and not really getting a chance to time zone wise, which just gets me scared because we have to go to London in like 10 days,
I
so that's
know.
great.
Yeah,
Uh, we're gonna lose the series to the Mets too. Is that what I'm being? Is
let's
that my
not.
Is that my
Let's not
understanding?
do that.
Um, but of course now there's literally no excuse for us not to win the NL East
Yeah,
with Acuna going down, which is really a shame.
yeah. For
Um,
baseball, I mean, I like watching them play. And I like beating the Braves at full strength. So,
yeah,
which
you want to,
we have done it, so they can't say that the injury
yeah,
bug plagues
but
them.
they will.
Yeah.
They will.
Well,
But
I,
we want to beat your best teams. You want to beat the best teams with their best players, and they're down two of their best players. And
did they win today? I didn't even. Did they play
I
today?
I believe they did.
I don't remember.
They might have not.
Let's see.
If they did, they lost.
Yeah, they
Because I
lost. Yeah, they lost 8-4. So I mean, as long as we lose and they lose, I'm cool with that. Doesn't matter.
and the Guardians lost, which is the other team that's close to being the best team in baseball. And the Yankees didn't play today, so
Yep.
um, it's
Speaking of the Yankees, Aaron Judge has been on a tear.
and that's why they're winning.
He's
I
been
mean,
on
it's
a tear.
Judge and Soto, and even Stanton is playing really well.
Mhm.
And as long as their big three is going, they're going to keep winning games too.
Yeah.
And it's a really, really likely chance that the two that's who you would be seeing in a World Series matchup in
Mhm. I would love to
Phillies.
see that again.
And I
That
think
would be
that's just
good for baseball.
it's good for baseball in so
Yeah.
many ways.
The short series, the hour and a half drive from city to city, that would be perfect.
It's good for baseball
Mhm.
for actually getting views on TV because I'm sure the last years did not do well.
Well,
World
and
Series.
like even like the Phillies home games would be Phillies fans. Like there would be no like you wouldn't be able to be there if you were a Yankees fan. And same thing in New York. Like we'd all be
Yeah,
watching at home because that's how crazy that would be. From all the
yeah,
other series they've had in the past, that would be awesome.
yeah. I mean, I think to just give baseball that economic boost,
Yeah.
and maybe even just um, casual fans like showing up to games and
Hmm.
wanting to be at the series, and just because those are two big franchises. I mean, you could say the same if the Dodgers beat us and go to
Yeah.
the World Series too, but we're not going to talk about that. So, a couple things. I want I wanted to have this podcast be talking about how great I think Alec Boehm's doing, and then today he had all those errors. So I know Ranger lost his last start, but I believe you wrote this down. Is he not getting recognized enough by like nationwide media and things like that? And I
Yeah.
think I don't think he is,
I don't think so either.
um, and that's because they want to talk about you know young pitchers who are on the Cubs and bow before they pitch, things like that. Yeah, I mean, I think Ranger is arguably one of the best pitchers in baseball, and he doesn't get talked about like he's one of the best pitchers in baseball. And I think that has to do with his teammates as well. Like he's on the team that has Zach Wheeler and Aaron Nola, and, and so it's gonna he's gonna feel like a three, I guess, to everyone else except people who are watching him every game, who have
Yeah.
been watching him for the last few years. He hasn't really changed.
No.
So I think in I would put him as like a top five pitcher in baseball. That's me, but I've also been saying since the start of this year that Ranger's the guy we should be paying attention to.
Hmm.
So um, it goes the same with like a lot of the younger guys, though. I mean, I bet Alec Bohm will get talked about more than he has from his errors today than his actual being productive like he has been.
Hmm.
So it's
Yeah. The errors today were kind of. I think there was one that was by him that he probably shouldn't have been able to make a play on, but the other two I think he probably should have made.
yeah, and it's baseball.
Hmm.
Some days you're just not going to be able to make those plays, and some days you will. Um, Hopefully that doesn't bring him down.
Yeah. I
That'd
don't
be.
think it will. He
I don't
was
think so.
he was all right after the game.
Yeah. Um, so I mean, really, you made a point to bring up Ranger, and I just brought up Bohm, but it's really the norm for Philadelphia sports teams that are doing successful things to get talked about in a negative light still. Like the the Eagles have a 92% rate on a QB sneak. We should ban it because everyone else can't do it the same. Like they're just like the regular norm to just jump on anything that a Philadelphia team does that's successful. And I think media does that because they want to stir up local Philadelphia media because they know they get good content from it.
Yeah.
But in in reality, there needs to be a point where somebody just goes, okay, well, the Phillies are really good. Maybe we should stop acting like they're not. I don't know if that's going to happen, but as long as the Dodgers are around and teams like that, I think you're stuck being underappreciated. And I think the city prefers it that way
Hmm.
because that's just the mentality of the city to just be like, yeah, okay, cool, you don't like us, but we know we're better than you, so it's fine. Like, so it's a whole bunch of stuff. I've been talking a lot. Why don't you talk?
Talk about what? What do you want me to talk about?
I don't know anything, for I can get a little breather here.
Well, what about so the other night Alvarado came in and kind of blew it. What about Kirkring being the closer? Are we moving towards that?
I feel
Are
like
you
he
still
should.
confident in Alvarado?
I'm not confident in Alvarado at the end of a game.
Yeah.
I normally, and that's not, and that's just because I don't know what I'm going to get from him every other start. I mean every other outing. Sorry, I know Orion is still young and he's going to make mistakes in the process, but I feel like he's the future closer of this team. He probably should be out there. He has the closer mentality to him.
I like
Um,
how he's been using the high fastball,
yeah,
and since last year was just sweeper, 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 maybe a fastball, but now the fastball has been zipping, and it's been a strike, and he's been using it high, and people can't catch up to it.
yeah. And when he's on though. That's what I meant. I think
Hmm.
it was what was it the other day when he came in the eighth or something, and he got the outs, and I was like, that's what a closer does.
Hmm.
There's guys on base. We need major outs. That's what he does. Doesn't seem to get bothered by it. Not that Alvarado does either. It's just he's so inconsistent.
Yeah, it's he's just blow it past you and hope you swing at it kind of right now. It's not really commanding his pitches, and I mean he's been right around the zone. It's not like he's been really really wild. Um, some people just aren't swinging at it. They're seeing the ball well out of his hand. I think. I mean, he's been hit around a little bit here and there, so maybe they're catching on to it.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, possibly. excuse me. Um, he he's he's obviously one of the better pitchers on the team. I have like hiccups going on. Um, he's obviously one of the better pitchers on the team. So out of like, and he's probably one of the best lefty arms you can put out there in baseball out of the
Mhm.
pen. I mean, the other one we have on our team. That's never fun. But like, there's, I think it's time. I think it's been time. Um, he, he's really only had what maybe one bad appearance since coming back, Kirkling, and maybe two at the
Well, I mean,
most.
see, like my biggest thing, if you want to put someone in the closer role right now in this bullpen, to me, the most dominant pitcher has been Matt Strahm.
Yeah,
I would, I'd put him in there in any spot. That's my most trusted horse in that pen.
I mean his numbers speak for himself as well. So
Yeah, I mean, he's not throwing 97, 98, but he's locating the fastball, locating everything else, and he's keeping hitters off balance in big spots too. So um, I would put him there right now. I don't think there's anybody else in my mind that would really be the clear cut closer in like a game seven right now, other than him.
oh, if it's a playoff game, I'm not putting out Alvarado right now. I'd probably put out Strom as well.
Mhm.
But the issue with Strom, well, not an issue. It's like a positive. Is he can also eat innings for you too
Yeah,
if you need it. So I understand the role that he's in with guys like Sanchez and
hmm
Taiwan stuck starting, at least till July. Uh, I Yeah, if it was playoff baseball, I'm not putting out Alvarado in the bottom of the ninth inning. But I would consider putting Kirkling out there.
yeah. There's three guys right now. It's Hoffman, Kirkering, and Strom.
Yeah,
But Strom is probably my favorite.
yeah, yeah. But if we need him earlier in the game, you have to use him. So that's the issue. I mean, he's not going to come in during like Aaron Nola starts where Nola throws 150 pitches. Like, it's not going to happen. But you need him for those games.
I
With
think come playoff time, if we go to the kind of rotation that we had, I think we could probably have a four-man rotation at this point. Yeah,
Yeah, just take Walker out
I think
again.
Sanchez could kind of probably be there or Turnbull, and then whichever one of those two is not is probably the long man in the bullpen. Then you have Strom, and Hoffman and Alvarado, and then
That makes
Kirkering too.
sense.
That's your mix of guys. The other guys right now are out. I mean, Junior Marte is hurt, so he's not there.
And
Probably
what's
will
his name?
be
Why do I always forget his name?
Ruiz.
Yeah, he's not that bad.
No, yeah, he's not that bad. He's not that bad. It's not Sir Anthony.
He's
And that's
he's
the thing.
better.
He's coming in to just eat up innings and just help try and get him out of jams. So he's doing his job right now, and I
Yeah,
have no problem with it.
I don't still don't understand what the hell is wrong with Sir Anthony, but I don't think we'll ever be able to figure that one out.
Nope.
Um, we've been talking about July a lot, and that's because it's almost June, which means we're going to start hearing some a little bit more baseball rumors going around. So, do you think that we're going to switch to offense? Do you think that the Phillies should possibly make an upgrade in one of those outfielder positions instead of Pache and move Marsh to center or something along those lines?
I would consider something like that, and something I would really look into would probably be like a Kyle Tucker rental. He's going to be a free agent at the end of the year. It depends where the Astros are going to be towards that time, which we don't really know. They could be first in their division. They could be third. So um, you never really know with that. But they always somehow get in the playoffs. But they might, not be looking to sign him next year or something like that, and maybe you can get him for some prospects or something like that, and make a real run at the World Series. You move Marsh to center, put Rojas on the bench, um, keep Castellanos in right, and then you have or move him to left even if you want Tucker to play in right. But
Mhm.
I think that would be a really, really smart move, offensively at least.
So right now the AL West, as of today on 5/27, the Houston Astros are 3.5 games back of Seattle. Um, with Texas being 3 games, Oakland's still in it at 6.5 games,
somehow.
and the Angels even in it at 7.5 games. So I mean, the division is it's
Kind of up in the air at this point.
yeah, it's up in the air. I mean, you could look at some of the early divisional leaders and see like a nice lead
Yeah, I
on
mean the
most
other thing
teams.
too is look at the Braves right now going down with injuries. That stuff happens, so you never know. It's bound to happen in other divisions too.
Yeah, and I mean that I've been thinking about that too. This is something we don't have written down, but that might open up a wild card spot for another team,
Yeah,
depending on how bad the Braves fall down. I mean, right now they wouldn't. They would be the 1 seed in the wild card, first wild card, but that can change drastically. So
what would the
teams
NL
like
look like? Like who else could make a run for it? Let's see.
Chicago and St. Louis, Arizona, maybe need
Pittsburgh.
Pittsburgh. Yeah, like they need
The
to.
Nationals are 2.5 games back right now. I didn't
Yeah,
even look at that. Wow.
yeah. So that's what I'm saying. Like the fact that the Braves are about to probably take a pretty big hit. I mean, you
Hmm.
don't just lose
Yeah,
one
you
of the
can't
best
say that.
players in baseball and not take a hit.
First person to ever have a 40, 40, 40, 50, 40, 60, 40, 70 season. That's wild. That is pretty
And
wild.
I mean, I they probably will still make it in because they do have a lot of good
No,
players
they're
on
still
that
a
team.
really, really good
But
team.
the like the Chicago's of the world, the St. Louis's, the teams that are in wild card contention might have a chance to sneak their way in.
Hmm.
Come October. I mean, right now the Giants are a wild card team, and so is San Diego, and they're only a game over 500 each. So
Yeah.
I mean, that just says how open it is between the leaders in wild card and the others. So I mean, I would be interested to see. I think if I had to pick a team, like if for some reason we completely choke and we lose, I'm choosing. I don't want that to happen. I'm
Whoa.
cheering. I'm cheering for Milwaukee
Oh
because
God.
they got Reese and
Well,
they're playing good baseball.
all right. All right.
They're playing good baseball, and I mean they're 4.5 games ahead of Chicago and 5.5 ahead of St. Louis. So I think they're showing that they're a pretty good team.
No,
But
I'm not. I'm
uh,
not. Nope. I'm not jumping ship to anybody else. If the Phillies blow it, they blow it. I'm riding the ship right into the
well,
waves.
I'll stop watching baseball like I
Yeah,
normally do, so it's
that was
fine.
probably my next thing.
I'll just not watch baseball. But
Transition to football.
I'm already thinking about it because of the
I
last two
know.
games. This Colorado series got me. Then today, it's like, just give me football. Sick of Bryce Harper. Where's Jalen Hurts? Um,
Speaking of top athletes in the Philly region,
yes,
you want to go to that?
that's a current trend going on that
Hmm.
um, people are listing their top athletes. WIP did a top 11, right?
Yeah, something. Yeah,
I
top
have a
11.
top 11, but I also have three honorable mentions in mine.
Me too.
Do you want to start?
Sure.
All
Should
right.
we start with honorable mentions?
Yeah.
All right. So my three honorable mentions. I would say Saquon Barkley because he's just a really, really good pure athlete. We haven't
He
seen
hasn't
him
even had a
play,
chance yet.
right?
Yep.
So he should be on the list just because of what he can do on the field. Trey Turner, I'd say, is another one, and then JT.
Okay.
Then I'll go 11 to 1.
Okay.
Starting at 11, I'll put Aaron Nola there.
Okay.
Number 10, I'll go Alec Boehm. I think in the past couple years, he's really transcended himself and put him on that list. Tyrese Maxey, I'd put at 9. Next, I
Okay.
go Lane Johnson, and I really usually do not consider offensive linemen or, for lists like this, I just consider them, workhorses kind of thing.
But the Eagles' offensive linemen are athletes, so
Right.
this works perfectly fine.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
mean, if Jason Kelsey was still playing, he'd be on this list.
He'd probably be my number one.
Yeah, he'd be somewhere right up there
So
for
yeah.
sure. There'd be a big debate about that.
Yeah.
After that, I'd say number 7 is probably Devontae Smith. I think he's worth every penny of the contract he got. He's him and AJ Brown are going to be very, very hard to stop.
Devontae Smith is a number one receiver on probably
Twenty.
30 other
Yeah, I was
NFL
about to say
teams.
28 teams or
28
something.
teams, yeah. Like, that's how good he is. And I think because of A.J. Brown, people might forget how good Devontae Smith is.
Hmm.
And he's my favorite player on the team. So, I mean,
Yeah.
yeah,
So after that, I went number 6. I put Ranger Suarez.
that's a good one.
I think he's going to be one of the most valuable contracts in Philadelphia Phillies history once we lock him up.
Okay.
So I think he has a chance to be very, very high up on that list. After that, I got Jalen Hurts at number 5.
Okay.
I think he has still a lot to prove to get to number 3. In that top 3 discussion. But I think he's very, very capable of it. I've watched him since his Alabama days because I'm a big SEC football fan. You know that.
Yes, he is.
So I've watched him pretty closely. I've liked how he's progressed and everything. I think he has another mountain to climb in Philadelphia, and he'll get there. Um, and then number 4, I put Zach Wheeler. I think I had a big debate about 3 and 4 because I think Zach Wheeler could be in the top 3. It's one of the most, actually, probably 2 of the most valuable contracts in Philadelphia history, besides Bryce Harper,
Yeah.
um, in the recent memory at least. With big money, we're talking about. And then after that, I put AJ Brown at number 3. I think he's just one of the best athletes in all of football. So I'd like him. I like him top 3. I almost put him in. He could go number 2 in some cases because I'm not really too much of a believer in this person anymore, and it's Joel Embiid. Joel Embiid. I don't think the big man is what we really wanted in Philadelphia for basketball. He just hasn't been able to win and stay healthy, and it's just, I guess it's different being that big, playing sports at a high
And
level.
I think if it didn't happen around playoff time
Yeah,
every year, it would be different. But it's every
right,
year around playoff time, and
right.
it can get
But even
frustrating.
even when he's in there and he's healthy or semi healthy in the playoffs, he does perform pretty well. I mean,
Yeah.
he does put up some numbers. So I don't know. And then number 1, of course, Bryce Harper.
Okay.
I think he's the top athlete in Philadelphia.
I don't disagree. I don't disagree. All right, my turn.
Hmm.
My honorable mentions is Saquon Barkley. Um, but I also put Bryson Stott and Alec Bowman there. I know you had him in your list, but I
Yeah.
put Bowman in the honorable. My number 11 is Tyrese.
Okay.
Um, I think he probably is the better basketball player on the team, but it's a whole nother debate.
Yeah.
My number 10 is more, I guess, just for me. I put Brandon Marsh at 10.
Okay.
Um, just because I love Brandon Marsh. So I have Marsh at 10. Um, Number 9, I put Trey Turner.
Okay.
That's because I know what Trey can do when healthy. You've seen it already. So
Yeah.
um, my number 8 is Brandon Graham. And I went with Brandon Graham for
Damn, I forgot about that one. How
consistency
did I
of
forget?
being on the team for 15 years.
Mhm.
And he started off maybe not one of the best players in the world, but what he grew into over time. And Brandon Graham, and he's part of one of the biggest plays in Philadelphia Eagles history with strip
Yeah.
sack on Tom Brady. So,
Yeah. Easily.
number 7, I have Devontae Smith. He is my favorite football player in the league right now. I love Devontae. Number 6, I have Lane Johnson. So the Eagles' offensive line is not like a normal offensive line. The Eagles' offensive line is filled with top-notch athletes who
It's like
are,
a rugby line.
yeah. I mean, I should have Jordan Mailata in there,
I know.
but
That's another one I thought about after I made the list.
but the whole team is just it's different. So,
Mhm.
and then I have
You could probably put 3 offensive linemen from the Eagles on this list, or even
yeah,
in the honorable mentions.
yeah. So number 5, I have Zach Wheeler. Um, Number 4, I have Joel Embiid.
Okay.
Um, I think he fell off the top 3 spot. Um, Number 3, I have Jalen Hurts. And that's because I think Jalen was originally my number 2. Um, I changed it because of the guy I'm about to say at number 2 because I forgot him when I was making the list, and that's AJ Brown. Um, AJ Brown is the greatest gift Holly Roseman's ever gave to the Philadelphia Eagles for literally nothing. And number 1 is Johan Rojas. I think he's I
God,
think he's one of the best athletes in Philadelphia history.
shut the hell up.
Um, he's so good. Um,
Is this your confession that you were wrong? That
no,
he's an okay baseball player.
Bryce Harper's number 1
Of
because he's
course.
going to go down as one of the greatest baseball players to ever live. And that's that for the list. I think our lists are pretty similar.
So I didn't hear. I didn't hear Ranger.
No,
No Nola.
no, no.
So no, neither one of them. But
Ranger would have been my honorable mention, and it's just because I'm going off of like more of like what you have done on a consistent basis throughout your time in Philadelphia.
all right.
So
So you want to let's next podcast we can debate about Aaron Nola and what he's done for the city of Philadelphia.
yeah, but I can also debate the fact that Aaron Nola does what Aaron Nola does, and you saw that yourself. You know what he does. You know what you're getting. Yes, he eats up innings, but he gives up like 8 runs. I'm not.
What is his career ERA?
I don't care.
You can't say he gives up 8 runs a game every time he goes at it. That's not what he's done over the past career, or over his whole career.
Give me a second. He has a 3.69 ERA with a 30,
A lot better than over 4.
and he has a 32.7 WAR. But when I look at, I can talk about when he was good, right? But then I can go, okay, 2023 he had a 4.46, 2021 he had a 4.63, 2022 yeah he was good, he had a 3.25. But
The Phillies were winning in 2022, weren't they?
yeah, they won.
And they
They did.
weren't good in the other years. They had no one else, and he was not the same pitcher he is now. He's very consistent, and he goes out there and he eats up 7 innings to start,
And I
and he
do
keeps
enjoy.
you in a ball game.
I like that. But what I'm saying is, he's the third best pitcher on this team.
Okay, he should have been in the honorable mentions at least. Come on, Nick.
I don't. My honorable mentions only had 3. I didn't add
But
another one.
you were just saying about Ranger could have been in there.
Ranger would have been there. He would have been the nice 4.
Okay.
I'll write him down. Ranger. So he's on there now.
All right. Next question, please.
And Ranger's a better pitcher than Nola ever was. Ever was. Ever.
They didn't
Ever.
let Ranger go deep into playoff games.
That's because they were afraid to let Ranger go deep. But now I'm pretty sure they'll let Ranger
Well,
go deep in the
I'm
playoffs.
hoping they will. If they're afraid now, they got other problems.
So this is starting to get heated. So let's go on a topic that we're all agree on, and that is we can celebrate some really happy news that came across a little bit ago. Angel Hernandez is retiring from umpiring,
Wow.
and I mean, one, congratulations for somehow staying in the league for as long as you did, because that's impressive. And I can't wait till you're gone.
Yeah, when is it? When is it ending? Is it
I don't
after
know.
the year?
I don't know when it's official, but I sure hope it starts
Is it
like
immediately?
I hope it's immediate.
Jeez.
That and to go on that.
How many times has he ejected Bryce Harper?
Well, Bryce Harper's has been is legal enough to drink on his ejections throughout his career. So, let's see.
I'll drink to that.
He probably has a good amount of the injections because of Bryce, and that's what I want to start talking about now. Is me and you were talking about minor league umpires getting called up and then being thrown behind the plate.
Mhm.
I don't think that should ever happen. Um, I'm obviously referring to the game versus the Giants. Versus the Rockies. I'm sorry, that the Phillies probably could have won. It would have actually probably kept momentum going in the right pace. But then Bryce gets injected in the first inning by
That was
a
the first game.
first game of the first inning versus a minor league umpire.
I mean,
And
he's had major league experience, but I think we were talking about this. Like, if you're gonna call someone up, it probably should be someone else in that's an everyday major league umpire behind the
yeah,
plate.
yeah, I feel like I'm gonna sneeze. I don't want to sneeze on the podcast.
I was catching it. That's why I
Yeah,
jumped in there.
I feel like it should be the crew chief who takes over. Like that's should be part of your job. Okay, so your guy is gonna miss his chance. Okay, we need another ump. Let's call up this random umpire from minor leagues. Yeah, he has experience, but they're not even really making balls and strike calls that much down in AAA level, at least. I don't know if the other because they use the Robo umps, and you don't. So you're throwing in a guy who might have not even called balls and strikes for the last couple games. He's been a home plate umpire because they mix it in, and then there you go. Now call balls and strikes. Oh, and now understand that Bryce Harper's literally just talking to you.
Yeah, just
Like,
asking you a question. I don't think it's a strike, but where do you have it? Just so I can swing at it next time.
yeah,
That's it.
for I know that I can swing that
Yeah.
pitch. And that's a normal thing. Like the fact that he got that emotional about it, this
And
guy.
see, that's the part that when you bring into like the robo umps, players will miss out on that part because is there still going to be a home plate umpire behind the plate when that eventually happens
Yeah,
down the
there
line?
is. Yeah,
And will he have the feedback in real time to relay it to the hitter before he needs to be ready and make eye contact with the pitcher, with the pitch clock winding down and
I'm sure.
process all that information?
Well, I can tell you from experience of watching some Robo Ump games. You don't notice the difference that much. The
But then again, how often are minor league players looking back then and asking, "Hey, where's that pitch at?"
they're not because they're not concerned about that stuff,
Right, right.
which that could become a factor. I mean, the major league
That's
players
the
know.
one thing. Like a robot can't be personal with a person, but at the same time, Bryce was just asking him a question,
Yeah, and would Bryce get thrown
and
out if the ump makes his
apparently
own?
the guy was like he wasn't even like answering the question, like just answer the question,
Maybe he was intimidated.
maybe, but just be like yeah, maybe, or maybe just be like I missed it. I'm sorry, man.
I think he just wanted to add Bryce just to kick him out,
Yeah,
just to
he
do
wanted
it.
some screen time.
Yeah, I really think that was the case. But yeah, I mean, you don't notice the robo umps at a minor league level, but you're right. The minor league players aren't going to talk back to the umpire because they can't afford to get kicked out of the game. So there's a lot of little things. I mean, I went to minor league games when they were trying out the pitch clock too. Um, you didn't notice it then either. You just noticed that you were going home earlier. So um, I didn't put in play that the personal level of these major league players is different than minor league players. Their intelligence is better. Like Bryce can obviously swing at a ball that is out of the zone technically and still get a hit.
Hmm.
Yeah, but it's unlikely for 2025 anyway. So
Yeah.
we're gonna be at least going another season without it. But I think I'd be interested to see. I would need to know the little details, like you're saying. I would want to know how accurate the zone is as well. Like what does the robot consider the strike zone? These are things that players would need to know.
Mhm.
Um, yeah, I don't know. I thought I had more information on this, but then
Well,
you
no,
just
it's just I had a question. That's what I'd be asking if I was a player when those things can't, come up. That they're valid questions that we're asking right now, and
yeah.
kind of puts the whole discussion into, throwing it up in the air and figuring out how to exactly make it work, or if it
And
can't work.
what benefit does it really give to the game too? I
Right.
think that's another thing. Like, am I gonna baseball lately has been doing all of these changes to try to bring in audiences, and maybe Robot isn't going to do that if you're taking away arguments at home plate. So
Yeah, but I mean, arguments don't have to be. You don't have to eject someone in the first inning. You know what I mean? Like let the game come. Play out a little bit.
if
And
Bryce was screaming at him,
yeah,
yeah, go ahead, do what you got to do. But he was literally talking to him, and I was like, "What just happened?"
yeah. No, I saw it once the camera zoomed in, and it was a little bit longer till the break. I was like, he's getting thrown out. I was expecting to come back and see like a highlight of him like yelling at somebody or something, and no.
What all the great that comes with Bryce Harper, there also comes a lot of negatives with Bryce Harper.
Yeah.
That's one of them.
But so I don't criticize Rob Thompson a lot, and I think in that instance, if someone's going to get thrown out so early in the game, it's probably got to be Rob Thompson.
And now,
But at the same time, he probably didn't expect anybody to be getting thrown out in the first inning, so
there's no way.
he probably wasn't even looking up and didn't even know what was going on at that point. It was
Yeah,
so early.
he probably just saw Bryce talking to him, which he's probably seen at least every game.
Yeah,
Bryce
nothing's
trying to
out of the
figure out
normal.
what his phone is, and he gets thrown out.
Mhm.
I mean, I can't believe that happened still. And I really do think that cost us a series because we were going against one of their bad starters as well. They had a 5+ ERA, and
Well, what did he do the next night?
Bryce hit a 3-run home run, right?
Yeah,
But
so
that just
that's
backs
the
up what I'm saying.
difference.
That backs it up. That was the most Coolers Field home run imaginable,
Yeah.
but it was a home run.
Hmm.
Speaking of home runs, we could talk a little bit because we're about to talk about the upcoming series, and we're in it, so we can probably talk about it a little bit more. Schwarber hit a home run today, which could be a sign for good things to come. It's needed. It's definitely needed. We
Yeah, I
need.
thought that ball was going into the cove.
I wish it did. I
It
like
was
when that
looking
happens.
like it, and I thought I like seeing the kayakers go crazy trying to get the ball in the water. They always it's like a war, dude. If I was out there, I'd be throwing paddles at people. That'd be crazy. You know what I mean?
One of my favorite things to watch. It's on YouTube. I know you're a big baseball YouTube guy.
Mhm.
You normally watch sad Phillies highlights,
Yeah.
but
After tonight, I'm gonna watch some. I,
I recommend doing this instead. Watch all of Barry Bonds' home runs
oh, I've
because
done that.
it's so fun.
That's
Because
a-
especially when they show them going and hit a cove and you see these
Yeah.
people freaking out,
Yeah.
it's the greatest thing ever. It's my favorite. I think it's my favorite YouTube video just because you get to see one, you get to watch Barry hit bombs, and
Well,
speaking of, Jose Ramirez is a better baseball player than Barry Bonds.
let's not talk about that. But speaking of that stadium and Barry Bonds, Bryce Harper wanted to play there.
Yeah.
It was between there and Philly, so he must have liked that park.
It's a nice park.
It's a
It's hard
beautiful
not to
park.
like it.
Yeah.
You got a beautiful view.
What left-handed hitter wouldn't want to hit one into the cove?
Right, Schwarber's actually a perfect fit for
Yeah.
over there.
There'd be. I wonder how many he hit into the cove.
Yeah,
That'd be pretty.
yeah, that's actually. I mean, we'll see. I don't think Kyle's going to go anywhere come contract time though, so
Yeah.
we'll see what happens with that. So we got 2 more games versus the Giants. I don't know who's pitching tomorrow. Who's pitching tomorrow?
So it was Walker. Is it
So
Wheeler tomorrow, right?
Wheeler tomorrow. Wheeler
Yeah.
versus TBD, according to.
Yeah, they don't know. I think it was going to be that really tall dude that they have. Starts with an H. I forgot what his name.
Tall guy with a H. All right, we'll go with that. And
He was
then
warming up in the bullpen at the end of the game tonight.
okay, and then Sanchez will go to start after Wheeler. So Sanchez needs to have a better outing because he's still pitching well. I mean, he's at a 3.15 ERA.
Mhm.
It'd be nice to see him get some more wins, though. Maybe give him some of that Taiwan Walker run support because I feel like he's the guy who needs it because he's
been
young.
battling.
Yeah, like let him not have to have a stressful game, and I think that'll be good for him, and he might help him going forward as well. I want Wheeler to eat up as much innings as possible tomorrow because
Oh, well, I
the
expect to win tomorrow.
bullpen needs a break too. So hopefully, that's a fun 9:45 West Coast game, buddy.
Well, Wheeler used to play for the Giants. Well, he got
Yep,
drafted by the Giants,
he did.
so there's the opportunity to go shut it down.
I feel like he will, anyways.
Yeah, he just does that stuff.
That's good. I mean, and
Do
then
you
we
expect
got.
to you expect to see Bryson Stott and Marsh in the lineup tomorrow?
I don't. Is the guy lefty or is the guy righty? The tall guy.
Tall guy's a righty, I believe.
So that means they'll be in the lineup.
Yeah,
So yes, they'll be in the lineup.
sure. But they should be in the lineup every day. So.
I don't disagree, but this is, I think, and we're not the only people sitting here going, why aren't they playing every day? I mean, you could go on Instagram, you can go on Facebook, on our Facebook page, and you could go through the comments, which I do. I just don't reply to you guys anymore. And you'll see, there's too many of you. I'm sorry. You'll see that they all get confused on why Brandon Marsh isn't playing. And I mean, why isn't Bryson Stott playing? And I don't have an answer for you because if it was my baseball team, those guys are out there. They're out there every game, unless they need a day off. So, um, yeah, we're with you guys. It's really hard to watch Christian Pache round out the lineup with Rojas. We're with you. It's just in Whit Merrifield. Oh my gosh, he can't fucking play anymore. He needs to retire.
Something.
He's done. There's no reason that he's playing so much. He's not good.
The only reason he's playing so much is because Trey Turner's down. Once Trey Turner's back, Sosa's probably the infielder to plug in.
What happens to Clemens?
Well, it depends how much you value Whit Merrifield. I think at this point, you could you didn't pay him a lot of money.
I would send Whit Merrifield down to AAA.
I don't know if he can, but at the same time,
I would trade Whit Merrifield with Taijuan Walker.
Can you cut him or trade him? I don't know. Whatever the
you could
stuff
probably
is.
Put together a package of all the worst Phillies and just send them to Oakland or something.
For anybody.
Throw Taijuan Walker, Whit Merrifield, Christian Pache, Johan Rojas. Because we're going to have a new outfielder by the time this happens. We're going to have Kyle Tucker on the team.
Well,
so.
But then you just send Rojas down to AAA. Maybe he comes up in 2 years.
Rojas has earned my respect for certain things. I still hate watching him hit, but he's earned my respect for the most part. Mm-hmm. Then we got 3 games versus the Cardinals. Back at home, thankfully.
Yeah,
which could also be...
we won't see the Lou jerseys.
Which sucks because they're great. I like them so much.
They should have a toilet on them or something.
They have one of my favorite City Connects, I think. Other than the one I saw today, that Toronto leak, I really like that with the thing and the thing.
I like St. Louis's though. I like the writing and the hats. The hats are really like one of my favorite.
I like St. Louis's because they put 0 effort to it,
but it still works.
They're like, all right, so let's keep our regular logo. Let's just write the Lou on it.
Yeah, and make it fancy writing.
You know what would be a cool hat?
STL.
Got it.
Perfect.
And it works. They look nice.
Mm-hmm. I liked it. And that's the first time in their whole history out of like 142 years that they wore red in the regular season, I believe.
Yes, it is. And that means that I think Yankee fans need to realize that their outcome of thinking they're going to get away with this, not having a City Connect, isn't going to
happen. What would theirs be?
I don't know, but they're...
You know what I mean? It would have to be... I don't know.
I would just try to do like a... I think it'd be cool. I know they wouldn't do it because it'd be so un-Yankee to just do like a reverse pinstripe. Do blue jerseys with the white pinstripe.
Like how like Chicago White Sox is?
Yeah, just reverse it.
Or I would think like an old school like big NY logo here.
Yeah,
pinstripes like old like Babe Ruth style days jerseys.
They're gonna have pinstripes on them. That's a
has to.
But their fans think they're going to get away without it because they're still sitting there without them, but they're going to get them eventually. Everyone is. So Yankees fans, I'm sorry, but you're going to have a City Connect jersey, and you're going to have to deal with the fact that your team is not wearing their classic jerseys. Um, Try getting a good rotation of them. That's what we do. Uh,
Works. Yeah, it works.
you have all your jerseys though, except your red jersey. Do you want to talk about that? I want to talk about that.
Yeah. Can we bring it back, please, next year?
I think if we, I just want. I've been doing some thinking, and I'm willing to. This actually hurts my heart. So realize what I'm about to say. I'm willing to sacrifice the cream jersey to get the red jersey back on the road.
Well, are we talking about like the 2023 cream jersey or the 2024 cream jersey?
The 2024 one looks kind of yellow. So,
Yeah, so yeah.
so I'm kind of
I'll
okay.
keep the grays over that.
So I want to take away the. I love the cream jersey. It's my favorite jersey because I like the blue and red hat, the whole thing. But I'm willing to part for we could have a red jersey to close out the road. And I think that's why we're not winning these games on the road. We don't have our red jerseys for good luck.
Mm-hmm.
We're not closing out series the way we should. Yeah, so I'm willing to make that decision. I'm not in charge,
Bring them back.
but bring back the red jerseys. They're beautiful. So it's almost time to wrap up. But how do you think the Phillies will do versus the rest of this San Francisco series? And
I
they'll lose.
to lose. Well, I think we're going to win the San Francisco series, and I think we're going to get back on track, and I think we get back onto the sweeping track, and I think we sweep St. Louis. I think we're getting back on track. We have some good pitching coming up, and I think other guys are going to start actually hitting the ball. It's all going to come into full circle here.
Yeah, I'm with Zach on this one. I would say be on Schwarber watch, everybody. Don't
Yes.
miss the first inning of the game.
Yeah,
Because
first at bat.
that him today hitting that home run to me means he's about to get hot. So don't miss the first at bat in the game, which will be great for us to start off the game with a lead. I expect Trey back in probably a couple weeks, maybe a week or so. I know he just had the setback, but
Yeah.
I still expect him back in like a week or so, which will be fantastic. Get rid of Whit Merrifield forever, and I think we'll be okay.
Mm-hmm.
So that about wraps it up. Make sure you guys hit the like button instead of just viewing the podcast. Helps out the the YouTube algorithm. It's a fun word to say, but make sure you hit the like button for more people can find our videos. So don't just watch it. We appreciate you. We do. We appreciate you. But hit the like button. It's right there. Little thumbs up like this. Hit it. And then you know what? Share it. Share it with your friends and your family and your next door neighbor and your grandma. Maybe your grandma wants to watch. I don't know.
Everybody.
Just share it to everybody. Another way to show support is go to our merch store and purchase a Phanatics t-shirt. We have a few there, a few different colors. I wore my long sleeve one yesterday. Yesterday I did. I wore it yesterday. It's a nice shirt. It's super comfortable. Make sure you get the performance t-shirt one. You can wear it. I wore it all day yesterday. I wore it to bed. It's super comfortable. So
it's versatile.
It's very you could wear it morning, day, or night. So I definitely recommend those. And then we do have a couple ideas that we're trying to shoot around to get more guests on. So if you're interested in being a guest on a podcast, like last week with Shannon, reach out to us on Facebook or Instagram, and I'll see the messages, and then I'll make Madison do all the rest of the work like I did last time. And yeah, so just give us a message. We'd like to get some good guests on the show, especially with how well that did. So yeah, so reach out to me. Zach can't really do anything about that. So reach out to me, and I will. I'll handle the guest. Um, we'll have Madison back next week, hopefully with a new computer. She says. And yeah, that's about wraps it up. Zach, do you have anything to say?
Nope. Let's go Phillies.